Now, none of the Rutgers quarterbacks that are currently vying for their starting job are ready for Mace's primetime list, but there is a good battle going on between Giovanni Ricchino, who started the final 5 games of last season, Louisville transfer Kyle Bolin, who lost his job to Heisman winner Lamar Jackson, and true freshman Jonathan Lewis. That QB competition among the main offensive storylines. So we head back to Piscataway.
Back in Piscataway, where mission number 1 is to improve the offense here for the Scarlet Knights. Jerry Kill now in charge for a group that was last in the nation in total offense and yards per play a year ago. Dave Revson, Jerry DiNardo, Howard Griffith. Guys, we had a chance to watch this Rutgers attack and see what Jerry Kill has done. I think the first question everyone has is the quarterback spot. You have Giovanni Ricchino, who did start 5 games a year ago. The grad transfer Kyle Bolin coming in as well. You have an outstanding freshman in Jonathan Lewis. What did you think of the quarterback spot?
Well, Giovanni, which you have to love saying that name, right? And Bolin obviously have more experience. And that looks really tight. And Lewis, talent-wise, he's got a great future ahead of him, whether he can get up to speed this year. And so, based on one practice, that's kind of how it looked. But I think they have 3 pretty good quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think they do. And you mentioned Lewis, and I think they would love to just allow him to sit and wait and let the veteran guys really take over and move the club. But when you talk about those 2 guys, I thought they both did some good things today, throwing the ball down the field. They have some weapons, which is important because now when you're starting to pound the ball inside, they have some guys like Harris that are going to be able to get open down the field in some one-on-one coverage for them.
And like most programs, the 2 older guys got a lot of reps. I mean, all 3 of them are getting reps. They're all going to have a chance to win the competition. So I was impressed with the rotation and just the way all 3 of them carried themselves body language-wise.
Well, Lewis is impressive.
Yes,
I mean, I hear you. I understand that you probably do want to give him a year to figure things out in the program. But, man, physically, he's great. He threw some really nice balls. I thought he got better and better as the day went on, which was interesting to see.
And a little bit like yesterday when we talked about Maryland going to Texas, you know, they go to Washington. So, again, you put a young guy.
Washington here, but they still play Washington.
But, you know, a young guy in that situation might not be the best thing either. Now, if he wins the job, he'll deal with it. But that plays a little bit, I think, in the decision.
And I don't think anyone would be surprised if he did with the talent that he has. But I think in a perfect world, with some veterans in place, you can allow those guys.
If you read into the reps, it didn't seem like they're really considering him.
I'm not saying it eliminates him from the competition.
Right.
I'm just saying it's.
No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. What about the running back spot? Gus Edwards coming in from Miami. He's pretty good. I can tell you like him, Howard.
I do. And he's one of those guys that's going to put that right foot or left foot in the ground and get north and south immediately. And you think about what Coach Kill has had an opportunity to work with over his career. He fits right into that mold to be able to move the chains. He's going to be one of those guys who come the 4th quarter, people aren't going to want to tackle him because he's a physical runner, does a good job catching the ball out of the backfield as well.
And then offensive line, they're basically a gap scheme, which means there's a double team on the front side where the ball's going, and that helps this offensive line. Or they're a zone scheme, which means an offensive lineman always has protection to his right and to his left as he goes through his footwork. So that offensive line play is going to be able to help their run game. It's different than it was a year ago. This is what Jerry has done at Minnesota, which helped their offensive line perform.
As bad as the offense was last year, and it was bad, the defense was not dramatically better, guys. They were last in the Big Ten in total defense as well, so there is a lot of work to be done there. Where have you seen progress defensively?
Well, they've tweaked it. They've made some changes in scheme-wise. I think they're stronger up front. You know, Howard, you and I talked about their body types. You know, they're not necessarily tall, but they're thick and they're strong. I think that the offense is going to help them develop. You know, when you're in the Eastern Division, there's going to be a time when you're going to get pounded. When you cross over, you're going to get pounded. A year ago, they were all spread. Now with this new offense, I think it helps the defense get ready for the variety of teams they play.
And I think they're deeper now at the defensive line position because they're going to need to be able to roll those guys through to keep them fresh, because that's one of the things that we saw happen. They started to wear down when you got into the second half of games. You look at the linebackers, they run well. They've got some talented guys in the backside that have been around a while, that have played a lot of football. So I like where they're going defensively, but they got to be able to take away the football. That's going to be a key for this defense and for this team to have success.
I thought their ability at linebacker was good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, and nowadays football, defending a lot of spread teams, your linebackers have to run. I thought they had a good day.
Definitely have some guys who can run.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. Spent a lot of time on the turnovers.
Yeah.
That was very apparent today. That's going to be a point of emphasis.
And Torrey, I mean, he is an elite pass rusher, right? and he may arguably be the best player on this football team. If he can be consistent for an entire season, stay healthy, I mean, he is a true difference maker when it comes to this defense being able to get to the quarterback.
Right, and people think about Gerry Grant and his injury last year and what an impact that had on this team. Kamoko Toure, same way. I mean, really banged up, and someone who made a huge impact early on in his career here. If you keep him healthy, maybe you have a very different story. All right, so that's the story on both sides of the ball here from Piscataway.